You're listening to Demand and Disrupt, the podcast for information about accessibility, advocacy, and all things disability.
Welcome to Demand and Disrupt, a disability podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Parsley.
And I'm your co-host, Sam Moore, and welcome to another Cal Conversation. I always enjoy these, Kimberly, and it is my second one.
Yep, and we're glad to have you on board with these. And of course, we're always glad to have our disruptor-in-chief, Carissa Johnson. Hey, Carissa.
Hello.
And also Keith Hosey up there in Louisville, representing for Louisville. How are things, Keith?
Hello, disruptors. Hello, Kimberly, Carissa, and Sam. Things are going well.
I love how we've got 4 different corners of the state represented. We've got Louisville, which is like its own state, but it's like, I guess, north central Kentucky. And then you've got Bowling Green, which is south central, where Kimberly is. And you've got me, which is northwest in Henderson. And then southwest, where Carissa is in Murray.
I almost fall off the state.
You're almost in Tennessee, aren't you?
Pretty much, yeah. It's not far.
Kimberly's not far either.
No. How far is Murray from the Tennessee line?
About 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. I did not realize it was that close. Wow.
Yeah.
From experience, I know that it is just a short drive to the state line because Murray used to be dry.
Oh, so you used to have to go in Tennessee to get your refreshment.
That's right.
Yep, Bud across the border would hook you up.
Oh, gosh. Bud across the border.
Mm-hmm.
That's so funny because, and I bet used to were there like fireworks right across the border? Like used to when you crossed into Tennessee from Bowling Green, it's like all of Interstate 65 was lined with places to sell fireworks.
I don't
Is that
remember
weird?
the fireworks as much as I do the liquor stores right across the border. They knew my husband by first name, but
we've got state line fireworks right up here across the bridge when you head into Evansville. So I kind of get what you're talking about there, Kimberly.
Right, because where you are is always wet, and I'm sure everybody knows what we're talking about, but like some of the southern, is it only southern states? I think so, where you counties in the state decide whether they're going to be dry, which is allow alcohol sales, or wet, which is allow alcohol sales, or dry, which is you don't.
And a big thing now, too, I've noticed over the last several years is more and more counties are moist, meaning that they sell alcohol at the restaurants, but you still can't buy them at the grocery stores or gas stations or something.
No
like that.
packaged liquor.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if now we're going to do the same thing with like gambling, or is gambling just legal everywhere?
they just opened up a new gambling casino in Marshall County. Like yesterday was the grand opening.
Marshall County of all places?
Yes, in Calvert City. Called Marshall Yards. They're going to do game betting and horse race betting, and then they've got the casino and the slots and
if you win big, Carissa, make sure I get a cut.
I'm not a gambler. My husband is, but I'm not.
I'm not a big one either.
So do y'all gamble? I don't.
I am a big gambler. Not problematic gambler. Let me rephrase that. But I do enjoy, generally speaking, we go to Churchill Downs a couple times a year here in Louisville, and generally we go to the casino a couple times a year.
I
used birthdays and stuff.
I used to go a fair amount with some buddies of mine that used to enjoy going. Then they got married, and I guess their wives kind of put their foot down on them, going to casinos. And it's funny how that works. But, occasionally I'd take out a 10 or a 20 and not a ridiculous amount. And when I got to the end of that, I just stopped.
Actually, I'm at the penny slots till I lose.
You stick with the penny slots, huh?
I think the key is just showing up with a set amount of money and not going over that. They put ATMs in the casino for a reason.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to casinos, but honestly, I just like on vacation because like we went to vacation in like Beau Rivage down in Mississippi, and
Mm-hmm.
we don't gamble. It's just the casino's nice, really nice pool and shopping and stuff. But I'm too cheap to gamble. I'm just like I'm just a cheapskate. I don't gamble. Also, I think slots are. I think that's a visual thing. I think I've said this before. I think I don't know. I think it's just noisy if you're blind.
Yeah, you're just hearing a bunch of different cha-chings and random sounds, and I've never been without sighted assistance, and I guess in most casinos it's probably hard to do any gambling without sighted assistance, but
I also don't even do things like play games on my phone. So maybe I'm just not a gamer. Maybe I'm just.
Yeah, I mainly just follow other people that are gamers, like basketball players and football players.
So do you do sports betting, Keith?
No, even though it's legal now. I've got a buddy that's really into it, but I've not done that yet either. But you're right, DraftKings and
I do those.
Do you?
But I only do it so basically just the NFL season. I have a DraftKings, and they can sponsor this podcast if they'd like.
Yes.
And so during football season, my wife and I usually pick out. It's funny, Sam. I'm the opposite of your friends. I got married and then got into some of these gambling.
After you got married,
activities. Yeah, my wife's family. They're into horse racing and all that type of stuff. So, but we'll pick 4 teams maybe, or get what they call a parlay going, and it just kind of makes Sunday more fun watching the NFL. But I don't open the app again until the next NFL season.
Oh, so it's the app is dormant for about 8 months.
Yeah, it is. I don't
6, I guess.
Even though I like watching baseball and hockey and other sports, I'm not that into it to bet the games.
Well, I've been trying to educate Kimberly on this little thing called the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, not.
Yeah, we're trying to get her through Super Bowl 101 because as far as she knows, that game doesn't even exist.
It doesn't at my house, so not at all.
With you, Kimberly.
I told him all I knew, Carissa, is that All Creatures Great and Small came on later that evening. So I knew what I was doing.
It sure did. Yeah. That's exactly what I was doing.
And Mom was watching it too. So there were a definite hardcore group of people that were.
Carissa's the one who got me watching it. So
Carissa got you hooked.
So now this is not our topic, believe it or not, to our listeners, not gambling. But I do want to know, are casinos and racetracks and things, are they mostly accessible or not?
Well, we were having this debate in the office yesterday.
Really?
Because we started talking about Marshall Yards. And I was like, let's see if we can get a survey going. I would love to survey a casino. My coworker's argument was that he bets that casinos and gambling places would be the most accessible places you could find because they want to cater to the older population. Now he said some other things, but
that's an interesting theory.
So they're all wanting to get on the charter bus, visit the buffet, and go to the casinos. Basically, what he said.
Yeah,
all in the name of work.
I agree.
Right?
I agree with that. Every casino I've been in has been very physically accessible, because they want that market. They want retirees who have time on their hands and hopefully a little bit of money on their hands. They want, I won't say that, I'm not saying target in a bad way, but target as a customer base. Additionally, people with disabilities who may want to come in and gamble a little bit. So every time I'm at the casino, I see plenty of people with mobility devices. Now, I don't know, how accessible they are for other types of disabilities. But for physical access, they generally seem to be pretty wide open.
Well, and I'm sure they'll try to make it possible for you, regardless of what your disability is. If you need assistance and you ask for it, they're at least they should bend over backwards to try to make it possible for you, considering, they want you to win, but at the same time, they want their money if you don't. And
I'm
so
gonna bet. I say, there's my pun. I'm gonna bet that they aren't gonna whip out some Braille poker cards.
Well, that's stretching it there, Kimberly. I wouldn't expect that.
But shouldn't we though? It'd be fun to show
we should advocate for it, since we're all about advocacy around here. We should advocate for Braille poker cards at the casinos.
Yeah, exactly. That's our next campaign.
There you go.
Keith with Kentucky Adapt. That's what we need to do. We need to have a direct action.
We'll look into it.
So, but now I guess the big question is the casino accessible when there's 8 inches of snow on the ground? Because that's our topic today, talking about getting in and out of places and the weather and how that impacts those of us with disabilities, because it impacts everybody. But when it impacts everybody, it impacts us more. And
right.
Carissa, I think I will start with you, because you said just your body has just not been being super accessible for you lately. Tell us about that.
Me and winter have a love-hate relationship. I really should say hate relationship. The only love part is Christmas. Whenever the weather goes up and down in temperature, or the barometric pressure drops or rises, I get more stiff. I have more spasms. There's more pain. And all the weather's been doing lately is yo-yo. It'll be 60s one day and 18 the next.
Welcome to Kentucky weather.
Welcome to Kentucky weather. I keep telling my husband we're going to fly south for the winter eventually. I can't talk him into it.
You going to be snowbirds later in life?
I want to, yeah. My grandfather did that, actually. He came to Kentucky during the summer and had a house in Florida for the winter.
Yeah, it's not uncommon.
But I don't know if anybody else is like this, but it really hurts. It really puts me in a bad mood. So there's some seasonal stuff there with the attitude and stuff because I hurt. So yeah, I'm kind of over it, Kimberly.
Well, I don't think any of us would be in a real great mood if we're hurting. So in your defense.
I have always meant to and never have kept like a pain journal, because I think it's a good idea when you're like me, and I think you, Carissa, it's like pinpointing what is causing discomfort is often hard, because Lordy, there's so many things to pick from, right? Is it a nerve thing, a muscle thing? So I've often wondered if I kept a journal, like it was this temperature today and this is how, I felt, how my body felt, things like that. I wonder if that would lend some insights.
Well, I kind of do mentally. It's every winter, so I kind of have pinpoints. A lot of it's the weather for me, but yeah.
So you just know it's gonna happen. It's winter. It's coming.
Gonna happen. I know I'm gonna kill more PTO in January and February than the rest of the year. So,
what about you, Keith? Does it impact you?
I've kind of tried to track it to see. I really don't, as far as the temperature goes. I don't feel like I'm in more or less pain depending on the temperature. What I do experience, January, when we had snow on the ground for 872 days.
Didn't know there were that many days in January.
Yeah, that's only half of January, 872. It's harder for me, not necessarily more pain just, because of the weather, but my ambulating around the ice and the snow takes more spoons. And so I do find myself especially when there's uneven ground from snow or ice. Um, getting exhausted earlier and faster, and having some higher pain because of that, but not necessarily the temperature.
We explained spoon theory on here before. You mentioned spoons. I didn't know.
Have we explained spoon theory here?
I believe so, but we can always do it again.
Not while I was in your presence.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Keith.
You want me to? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So spoon theory is basically this idea that we all wake up in the morning with X number of spoons. And as you go throughout your day, you're spending spoons on activities. So it may take someone 2 spoons to take a shower, let's say. And the idea behind spoon theory is that people with disabilities end up expending more spoons than non-disabled people. So let's say my wife, who is non-disabled, gets 10 spoons a day, and so do I. It looks like we both have the same amount of energy, but it takes her 1 spoon to take a shower. It might take me 2 spoons to take a shower. It takes her 3 spoons for an 8-hour workday. It may take me 5 spoons for an 8-hour workday. So the idea that people with disabilities may have this same base amount of energy to expend, but it takes us more to expend it.
To do some of the things that our non-disabled counterparts do.
Yeah.
And when you cover all those things that we have to do in a layer of ice, for example,
piled on top of snow and
on top, that can be. So how did everybody fare with that? Because I got to be honest, I just didn't even leave the house. I mean, really, until it was better, I didn't leave the house. So how did you all fare with that?
About the same here. Oh, go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I was with Kimberly. We didn't leave the house. Luckily, we worked remote. And then until I got the parking lot cleaned off at the office, we didn't go back in. So.
Yeah, luckily I had power, knock on wood, the whole time because it was mainly a snow event and not ice. So I was able to stay, on track with my other podcast that I do, Blabbing in the Bluegrass, and keep that thing afloat and do my regularly scheduled interviews. So and luckily we stocked up, with plenty of food and essentials before the storm. So we were okay there, but we didn't get out. Mom and I didn't really either until that died down and it melted at least somewhat.
Keith, what about you?
Oh, I was out in it. I was out in it.
You are brave or foolish. I don't know which, Keith.
Well, I'd probably say 25-75 respectively there. I do drive a Jeep. So the roads are not an issue as far as me driving. It's just, the sidewalks and everything else. I can tell you that driving down a major thoroughway here in Louisville, Dixie Highway, by Monday, the main roads were fairly clear, but what the plows had done was push all of that snow off onto the sidewalks.
Which creates another problem.
And onto the side streets. So I'll tell you, driving up and down this Dixie Highway here, for that almost 2 weeks we had snow laying around. I saw so many cars get stuck in piles of snow trying to turn off onto smaller streets. I saw so many people trying to navigate unshoveled sidewalks, some with mobility devices. And I thought, man, please don't fall.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I got a new pair of boots out of it. My mom was like, you cannot walk out of the house with Crocs on. That is not allowed. So she bought me some boots. So.
Oh, you got free boots. That's awesome.
I got new boots. Yeah, I got boots. So.
I used to enjoy going out. Yeah, I used to, when we got as much snow as we did, which here in Henderson, I guess is about 10 inches. I used to enjoy going out and playing in it. I guess I've outgrown that a bit, but, I'd still stick my hand out there and see how hard it was or wasn't snowing. And, maybe bend down and feel it on the ground a little bit, but that's about all I need anymore, I guess.
I was watching the reports and things from especially the urban areas, like in like DC and Boston and places like that, and it's the same thing. Like they clear the streets, but in some cases, like the sidewalks are completely, piled up with snow. The curb cuts are covered with snow. So I guess what do people do? What is the thing to do in that regard, in that instance? Keith, do you know?
I, unfortunately, I think what a lot of people do is wait for it to get cleared by weather, by heat. I know there's been that storm in January. We had a lot of conversations, me, David Allgood, the center's advocate, and some other people, just about how, here in Louisville, there's an ordinance that says you have to clear the sidewalk adjacent to your property. It's a law. It's a local law, but no businesses don't do it. So many people don't do it, and there's no enforcement. And I don't really think, someone who owns a home and maybe can't shovel that sidewalk should be punished monetarily. But major businesses in town didn't even bother to clear the sidewalks connected to their buildings, and it's a problem because people get stuck, people get trapped. One of my friends, who's another board member on the center, last winter when we had all that weather in that January, he said he was stuck in his house for about a week because his ramp kept icing over. So it's just weather adds that extra difficulty on top of already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you're a major business, seems like to me you want to get your property cleared as quickly as possible, because even once the weather becomes respectable, if it doesn't get above freezing for over a week, like it pretty much did here, that's gonna impact your business. And if you wonder why your numbers are down, that might explain it.
Right. They might even clear their parking lot or whatever, but a lot of times I've seen the big snow pile that they've cleared in an access aisle or over a disabled parking spot. And that's a problem too.
Oh, yeah.
Or they clear all of the parking lot except for the row of accessible.
Conveniently.
Murray Hospital did that this time around.
Oh gosh.
Middle school is across the street, so we park there and go over. But
I know there's not always grass available, but if there is, I would definitely advise those in power to try to find grass to shovel the snow upon, because even if you're like on a sidewalk and you're trying to navigate, you might use a grass line for a shoreline if you're a cane user. You know what I'm talking about. If there's snow piled up in the grass, you may be shorelining against snow, and that's not that big a deal. But just as long as it's not on the sidewalk. And again, I know there's not always grass available, depending on the structure of the parking lot or whatever. But if there is, grass is the place for snow, people.
So aside from waiting it out, sometimes that's not possible. If you have, dialysis, for example, that's not a thing you can just, I won't do that today. I mean, so does anyone know, who do people call if you need access and you need that snow gone? I mean, do you call, who do you call?
I think unfortunately right now, the way our system is built is you call an ambulance if it's a medical appointment. I don't know. I will tell you, just as for example, my local city district, our council member, about a day after the storm hit, started a list. He had a list of people that needed shoveling and a list of people that were willing to shovel. And on a very local level, he was trying to handle that. So I think there are things people, I don't think there's anything really there, but there are things people can do or think about or try and do ahead of time to maybe plan for it.
One thing,
what we
David, sorry, go ahead, Carissa.
That's what we try to do. We try to do the ice melt beforehand. We try to make sure we've got, supplies ready and whatnot. And I saw a lot of people during the snow we got in January reaching out on Facebook. Okay, who can shovel for this person that needs to get out here? They would get connected that way.
And so many discussions about help for people with disabilities goes back to community. Always. And one of the things David Allgood always says, David Allgood's the director of advocacy for the Center for Accessible Living. One of the things he's always says is get to know your representatives in local government, in state government, whatever. Get to know them. Tell them what your needs are. Don't just show up when you need something, but let them know that you're out there, that you're involved, who you are. You may, if you call their office, you're not going to talk to them. I mean, eventually maybe you will, but that secretary is important, or the aide, and they know who you are. So they get to know who you are. And that's how you get things done. And sometimes if it's, I live in this area, I really need to get around in my neighborhood. Could we clear snow? I mean, I'm not saying it's a 100%. Yeah, this is how you absolutely get it done, but it's something.
Yeah, it's a step.
It is a step, just one step. Yeah.
And I think you told me one time, Kimberly, you call your representative multiple times a week, don't you?
Oh yeah, every Friday I start calling.
Every Friday,
every Friday I start calling people. Yeah. Awesome. So, what were you going to say, Keith?
I was just going to say that the other thing too, make sure your representatives know who you are and what your issues are. Absolutely. I think also for emergency preparedness, it doesn't hurt to make sure that your local police precinct and your local fire district also know who you are and if you have disabilities that need to be accommodated. So, for example, luckily, I don't think any of us, I didn't lose power during that storm. It was a lot of snow.
I wasn't either.
No.
So luckily, there wasn't a ton of power outages this time around, but, people have machines on batteries, people have breathing machines, people have other equipment that needs electricity. And in Louisville, we're lucky enough that our electric company actually keeps, you can give them your name and address and let them know that you have a device that relies on power. But even in absence of that type of program, if you live in a small community and you go down to the firehouse and you talk to some of the firefighters and just, hey, here's where I live, here's my situation, if I need, whatever, can I call you? Can you check on me? Things like that. As well as neighbors checking on, be a good neighbor.
And here in Bowling Green, I know the local library, the Warren County Public Library, was a warming center, and they were doing a lot to try to connect people with resources that they need. So your local fire, local police, also your library may have resources. If you have a Center for Independent Living around, those can connect you with resources. So what do y'all think? It's here the end of February. Do you think when we're recording this, of course, it'll probably be end of March when we're out. Do you think because we can have snow in April and stuff. Do you think we're out of winter?
I'm going to say, gosh. Well, I remember in 2015, we had like an 8-inch snowfall in March, and that really stood out. But I'm going to say I'm going to stick my neck out since I don't have any money on it. I'm not betting.
Are you going to bet on this? Or
I'm not going to bet on it, but I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that we're over the brunt of it. I think we've got a few more cold snaps left in us, but I think as far as the
I'm gonna
snowfall,
disagree with Sam.
you
I
gonna disagree with me?
I'm gonna disagree with you. I've lived here long enough to know that Kentucky can hold
It'll throw
on to
curveballs at you. I'll give you that.
I tell you, I'm with Carissa. You know what? I want to be on Team Sam, but
Yeah.
I'm with. I think we're going to see a snow in April. I do. I think
Mm.
Well, I
maybe
hope
even.
not.
I know it's horrible, isn't it? It's horrible.
So
But
you think it's going to be snowing during Thunder over Louisville?
I think I have seen too many snowy Easters. I don't even know what Thunder over Louisville is. Is that a Derby thing?
It is. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's in May, right?
Well,
No,
Derby's in May, but
yeah, Thunder is in mid-April.
Okay.
It's the kickoff to the celebration, but
Okay. Well,
yeah.
didn't they have to postpone or cancel that last year because of flooding?
Yes, that's correct. They last year they canceled it completely because of flooding of the Ohio River. The Ohio River crested so high at the time that they just couldn't do it. So you have, I mean, hey, come to Kentucky. We have all the natural disasters. I remember when there was an earthquake in what was that, 2008 or 9?
oh yeah,
Really?
I was at Western, and I didn't feel a thing, but some people in Bowling Green did. And in Henderson, mom and dad felt it pretty solidly. They felt it. It woke them up.
Really?
And I think it was like can't remember what the magnitude was exactly, but it was a 3 point something, I think, in Henderson.
Carissa, did you feel it? Because isn't the fault line way out there in the western part of the state?
It is. I don't remember it, to be quite honest. So
Okay.
I can't tell you. Obviously, it wasn't that hard, because if it was, I would have remembered it.
Right.
I was on the second floor of my 1900 house, and that house shook like a cartoon.
Oh gosh.
No damage. Of course, we were fine, and there was no damage to the house, but I felt like I was in a cartoon swaying back and forth. It was real surreal.
Oh wow. I bet that was horrifying. Or did you like not know what was happening, and by the time you did, it was over?
Yeah, it didn't last very long, and it was just kind of like, luckily my wife, it was early. My wife and I were awake because we were traveling that day, and we were finishing packing, and the house started shaking, and we kind of looked at each other. Is that an earthquake? What? That's so weird. And so she says, let's run out of the house. I said, you're supposed to stand under a door frame. And by the time we were done arguing, it was over.
So do y'all have a plan now in case of an earthquake?
We're going to run out of the house.
Okay, you have a plan now. Okay. Are you sure, or did you just win a coin toss or something?
I just know that my wife's always right. So
okay.
Yeah, that's
at
least that's what she wants you to think.
Right.
Oh no, I'm sure there's history to bear it out, right?
But hopefully, with any luck, you won't have to put that plan in motion.
Hopefully.
But
yeah, it's good to have a plan. I guess we probably need to talk a little bit about planning. We've talked about kind of the woes of disasters and weather, but it's important especially for people with disabilities, to be prepared for natural disasters. I looked up online, and the unfortunate statistic is people with disabilities are at least 2 times more likely to die in a natural disaster than non-disabled citizens. So, have a plan for sure. Have an emergency kit. Make sure you have extra medicine. Make sure you have a list of your medications and doctors. Make sure you have your identification papers. I probably have to look at them inside the bags and update them, but I have 2 bags in our basement that I got years ago from the Red Cross that were basically what you call a go bag in an emergency. And so that's important too. Everyone should have a Red Cross locally, even if you don't have a Center for Independent Living, and they're able to help with some of that stuff. Yeah,
and if you among your other stuff, if you have a service animal, make sure you have food for your dog.
Extra food for
food for the dog, and you'll need to replace that regularly. A dog food keeps a long time, but you still might want to replace it. I was on a similar call, emergency preparedness call. Bottled water. Everybody, is told to have, bottled water in case something happens and you have to use, there's drinkable water, but also you need water to like flush toilets or things like that.
Sure.
And we've had this happen where we buy for our emergency stash, we just buy the water in like jugs, like milk jugs, but the plastic breaks down and we've had this happen so many times. So the cabinet, the low bottom cabinet's leaking again. And it's where that water, the jug, will have sprung a leak from the plastic breaking down. But you can buy canned water. Did y'all know this?
I didn't.
No, I've heard of canned sparkle water. I've not heard of canned regular.
No, you can buy canned flat water, and you have to. That's a good point, Sam. You have to be careful. You buy the non-carbonated. It has to be canned flat water, and you can buy it in a can. And of course, it keeps like forever and ever because it's a tin can or aluminum can, so it just keeps not forever, but a real long time. And so. Michael was like, well, yeah, but you could just put it in a jar. And I'm like, who wants to have like a mason jar? Those are heavy, full of water, and they're breakable and stuff. So you don't want to use those, but I can. So you can buy it on Amazon.
Oh, wow.
You can
buy a reasonable rate, I'm sure.
It's expensive for water.
Worth it when you need it, though, whatever.
I know, right? But it is called, and this is so bizarre, I kid you not, it is called Liquid Death. Yes, Death, DEATH.
Liquid Death.
Liquid Death.
I thought that was a caffeine drink.
They have just a caffeine drink, but they also do water. I've seen that now.
Have you? Yes. Like regular flat water, right? It's just water.
They do teas and everything else, but they do regular flat water. They also do carbonated. You're right. You have to make sure you get the regular.
I would be worried if I were to drink it, it might be the death of me.
Weird name. Weird. Maybe there are other brands. I don't know. Carissa, do you know if there are other brands of water that?
No, I've only got I've only seen them recently because they were sponsored to another podcast. Somebody to sponsor us.
Hey, we're gonna have to reach out. Somebody reach out. We're gonna have to get Hannah on that.
Yeah, that's right. That's two sponsors in this episode already.
Right.
DraftKings and Liquid Death.
Yeah, we got to reach out.
3 plugs.
Yes, exactly. My caffeine addiction. I might need to get the some of the caffeinated water or drink or whatever because.
I really like the tea. It has B12 and stuff in it too. So
also, you
wow,
get a little nutritional value there.
Wow. So yeah, and of course, medications and things are always important. So how do y'all feel about alerting police and things that you? Is this best practice to alert authorities that you have a disabled person in your house?
Yes,
it is best practice.
I would say so.
I don't think it's a bad thing, especially if if you have other health complications besides your disability, because you don't want to be stranded, without assistance for an extended period of time if you're particularly vulnerable, which you are in a way if you have a disability, but even more if you're say older and you struggle with other health complications. I don't think it's a bad idea.
I don't know if they still do this, but when I was younger, not only did we know the fire department and they knew about me, but they also gave us a sticker to put in my bedroom window that identified that I had a disability and needed help out in case of an emergency.
Well, that's a good option. So if you needed help, you could place that sticker on your window and that'd be a signal.
Like if there was a fire,
Yeah.
to alert someone that you could not get out.
Yeah.
If your main accessible entrance was blocked by fire or whatever, then you wouldn't be able to get out.
Exactly.
That's true.
Keith, do you have thoughts?
I agree. I think, I can tell you that when I worked for the center and the first time we moved to a second floor in a building, we worked with the fire department and the police in that district. We did drills. We talked about because we had multiple wheelchair users, and if the elevator went down during a fire, then how do we get our wheelchair users out safely? And so we just invited them. We said, hey, here's our situation. We're a disability business. We'd love to have you come out, look at the place, make sure you know the layout, make sure you know where we're going to have people gather that need help evacuating. And so there's just less guessing there. And it's the same thing at your personal home. Like Carissa said, the worst thing we want a first responder to do is have to guess where we are or how to get us out in an emergency. So yeah, I agree. Getting to know your local fire department, making sure they know who you are.
Yeah, and I guess having to guess what your disability is too, that could be another somewhat complicated and time-consuming thing. Even if they know you have one, if they don't know what it is, they have to solve that puzzle too.
So, Carissa, what was on the sticker that was in your window?
It just had a writing on it that said there's someone here in this location that needs assistance.
So it didn't specify what your disability was?
No, it had I think it had a big H on it so they could see it. And then they knew what that meant. They didn't specify what my disability was.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But it identified my bedroom, which is most likely where I would be.
Maybe the first step would be coming up with more descriptive stickers.
Well, I'm just wondering if you can, obviously get everyone out, but if they got you out and didn't get your chair out, and maybe if that was because they didn't know they were supposed to, that would be kind of a problem,
Yeah, that's why I think talking to them first would be a great idea. I completely agree with you. Letting them know about you and what you need. Hey, and could you check on me like you said earlier? Hey, I have a power wheelchair that I can't live without. Obviously I come first, but
right.
I need this equipment, or I have a service animal.
Yeah. And those statistics are stark and unsettling. How much more likely, if you're disabled, you are than a non-disabled person to be killed or injured in a natural disaster. That it is kind of terrifying, honestly.
Yeah, it's not something any of us want to think about.
It's not.
It's not numbers that we want to, most of us don't want to hear the specific numbers, but, it just emphasizes the importance of preparation. And
right. Yeah. So, well, this has got cheery, huh?
It's thought-provoking. You can't deny that.
You can't. And, I think the takeaway here from this conversation is that we do have a lot of weather events and they're all a little different, but be prepared as best you can. I know a lot of us want to stay away from news and things, but, try not to completely unplug so that if there's a weather event coming or something like that. And then get to know people, get to know the people who can give you help. And that's your community, that's your elected officials, that's your first responders.
Sure. Yeah. And March and April, I've noticed, and maybe always, but I seem to have especially noticed that the last 4 or 5 years, March and April seem to be, big severe weather tornado months. And I'm guessing it's because, in part because you get that temperature roller coaster, especially in March, up and down like a yo-yo. And whenever that happens, there's always a possibility of storm. So even if there's not snow, which Carissa thinks there will be, I know, in March, even if there's not snow, you got to be prepared for other systems on the warm side of things, like a severe thunderstorm or tornado, heavy winds, that sort of thing. So just be mindful. I'm not trying to scare anybody. Just be mindful.
Yep. Be aware. And Carissa's already dreading. We talk about the temperature fluctuations. She knows what that means for her. So
I'm ready to throw out the yo-yo.
You've had enough yo-yoing?
I've had enough yo-yoing.
I've had enough, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, on the bright side, look
how also has an emergency management kind of thought-provoking sheet that I've done with consumers before. So if you don't know what to think about, the sheet helps kind of walks you through, and you can kind of plan that way. So if anybody's listening that wants help with a plan, I'm sure we can help you.
All right, gang. This has been fun as always.
Yes.
So thanks, listeners, for sticking with us and joining us for another Cal Conversation. Demand and Disrupt is a production of the Advocado Press with generous support from the Center for Accessible Living based in Louisville, Kentucky. Our executive producers are me, Kimberly Parsley, and Dave Mathis. Our sound engineer is Michael Parsley. Thanks to Chris Ankin for the use of his song, Change. Don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. And please consider leaving a review. You can find links to our email and social media in the show notes. Please reach out and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks, everyone.
Just for once, I think I would agree. We both know there's a difference. We've had our curtain call, and this time the writing's on the wall. War of words we can't defend. Two damaged hearts refuse to mend. This situation's pointless with each and every day. It's not a game we need to play. Try to make things better, repair and rearrange things, but each and every letter spells out the need for us to open up our minds and hearts to change. Then what will be. Disregard for good to set us free. There's just no way of knowing if love lives anymore. Turn out the light, then close the door. Try to make things better, repair and rearrange things, but each and every letter